What's up, everybody?
What's up?
Welcome back to Filming in Progress. I am your co-host, Isai, and I'm here with my other host,
Jarrell. How are y'all doing today?
Doing good. We have a very, very special guest today.
OVO in the building.
That's not OVO. That's not OVO.
Hey, look, it's a duck, though.
It's a duck.
I'd rather ride with a duck than an owl. Owls is creepy.
Owls are creepy.
I got this in Duluth, Minnesota.
Ooh, the Duluth Trading Company?
No, just like some random.
Wait, it's a city called Duluth?
Yeah.
Damn.
That's pretty cool.
Are you talking about the underwear?
I was talking about that. I was low-key talking about the underwear.
Is this your water?
That's my water.
That was my water.
Dang, that's Sean's water because you ripped your label off.
I think I opened up Khalid's.
Oh,
Yeah.
damn.
Should we pop the labels so we good?
Nah, I mean, you don't have
Ain't nobody watching.
Nah,
But for the people that are watching, we appreciate you. Please go ahead, like, follow, and subscribe.
Yeah.
Comment too.
We're here with a very special guest. We're
Yes,
going to have
we
you
are.
introduce yourself to our audience.
My name is Khalid Abdulqaadir. I am the old dude.
But you look young.
Thank you. Just turned 40.
Hey, that's a milestone right there.
Yeah. 4-0.
4-0,
Clap
son.
it up. I think it's this one. Oh,
Nope.
shit. Wrong one.
No,
All right, wrong one.
yeah, I was
There it
gonna say, I
is.
was like, come on, man.
Yeah, 40.
9 years away, right here.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, man. So,
Yeah, you still
feels good.
You still like you passed for 23.
Yeah.
Black don't crack, baby.
Especially when I shave.
When you definitely shave, yeah, you definitely passed for a
Yeah.
fucking 24-year-old.
Yeah.
And I don't feel 40, you know?
Uh-huh.
Like,
Good.
I still feel like, like I'm in my 20s.
Hey, that's what you're supposed to feel like. But I mean, that's probably all that spa shit you've been doing. We ain't gonna talk about that. I don't think we can. Can we talk about that? Oh shit, we can talk about the spa
Yeah, we can
shit.
talk about all
Oh
that.
boy,
You got a routine, bro? I want to age like you, so I want to hear about this.
Man, I think I actually do think it's about your mindset and how you feel. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the only thing that feels 40 or older is my knees.
Yeah.
Yeah, the motherfuckers
Motherfuckers
is
ain't bending the way they used
64. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This shit is real. But yeah, I think it's about your mindset, man.
Mm.
You know, I really do.
I believe that.
Yeah.
I believe that 100%. If you always feel like you always think and feel that you're young, you're always gonna be young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of mindset, I'm really excited to dive into your mindset and your story because you got one of the most unique stories out of
Most
any
unique fucking stories.
any
ever.
any filmmaker I've ever ran into.
It's a whole ass
Thank you.
spy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hold on, wait. Before we start this though, crazy. Like what? Since we've known Khalid, what's your craziest experience with Khalid so far?
Experience or just like story?
Just story.
I've been crazy.
No, I mean,
I mean, I don't have a crazy thing we've experienced. Like I'd be like, that was insane. But I mean, the stories he's told me is pretty crazy.
take a picture with that baby dog.
Oh yeah, I wanted. To
He wasn't there. I keep forgetting you weren't there.
Yeah.
You had to be there. Never mind.
I wanted to take a picture with that baby so
Bro,
bad,
bro.
Where
Him and Will was just wild.
where were we at? We were
We're in Beverly Hills
Beverly Hills
at
Uh-huh.
that party.
at a party, somebody's random house, and we walk in. There's a baby like in the stroller.
With a jacket. Yeah, you saw when I
Just
first
sleep.
walked in, I was like, Khalid, I don't feel right, bro. You see, he looked too.
I didn't see the baby until I walked right past the baby. He pointed it out. I was like,
Is it a filmmaker
"It's a
party?
baby."
Yeah, it was a filmmaker. It was
Yeah.
a filmmaker party. It was a Friendsgiving that got crashed by an AFN people.
Ah.
Pretty much, yeah.
So I think that's where the baby was left over from.
Yeah,
Nice,
the baby was just in there, and the baby slept the whole time.
Jacket thrown over it and shit. You would thought the baby was fake.
Yeah, bro, it was crazy.
Just legs dangling, just lifeless.
Some babies are different, bro. They just.
I mean, I wanted to get a picture. If you bring your baby to the party,
We gotta get a picture with
you
the
know what
baby.
I'm saying? Like, everything's on the table.
Let me get a
Yeah.
picture with this baby, cuz.
That's just my opinion.
Had the bottle in his hand and everything. We was acting a fool. No, that was a dope ass party though. That was we met a lot of fun people there though too.
Yeah,
A lot of fun people. No man, but yeah, let's get into your background. Let's get into your story.
yeah.
Khalid, what's that one line? So the headline that you had the New York Times post or for your story. You had it. What's the name of that article? Because I think that really describes you in a really impactful way.
Oh yeah, my New York Times. What was the name of that? It was
Oh, is that
the
something?
polygraph. The
Yeah.
polygraph test that saved my marriage.
See, I thought it was the one where you said you were the first American or the first. What was it? The first
first person to go from being labeled a terrorist to becoming a spy.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of.
That's just wild.
That's what my the first script that I wrote is based on that, and the TV pilot that I'm writing now is based on that.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So give us a little bit of a background on like how that came to be, and also your background, because you kind of came into filmmaking a little bit later.
Oh yeah.
And you experienced like probably 3 or 4 lifetimes before actually, becoming a filmmaker.
Right.
So let's hear your background.
Yeah, man. I would say that my childhood was normal. I think it's consistent with what other black people might experience. You know what I mean? My dad listened to Motown.
And he's 40. So he grew up in a different time than I grew up. Damn sure.
I bundle you two like in the same era.
You should, honestly.
Unbundled it. But what was different about my dad was he was just a very what's the word I guess I can call him charmed, or he lived a charmed life. You know what I'm saying? He's always been a guy who's never been afraid to do what he wanted to do, or say what he wanted to say, fight for what he believes in. He's that kind of dude.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And so just growing up with him, I think that's what made our situation a little different, and the fact that he was pursuing Islam as well. And so the interesting thing about my dad is that, his pursuit of Islam was a way of him trying to battle against like a lot of his demons, because he spent a large part of his lifetime being a criminal. And so I think he saw Islam as like first of all, it was an alternative to white Christianity, which a lot of African Americans, were looking for an alternative, after the Civil Rights Movement.
Yeah.
He went through the whole Black Panther thing. He went through the Nation of Islam thing. He went to Vietnam, and then he got into Sunni Islam, which is similar to what happened to Malcolm X. He used to be with the Nation of Islam, but then he took the pilgrimage to Mecca, and then he learned a different perspective of Islam, and then he was different. So my dad had a similar experience like that. But he was always like 1 foot in, 1 foot out, like 1 foot in the mosque and like 1 foot in the dope game.
Damn.
Okay.
Foot in the streets.
Yeah.
Foot in that line.
So that caused us to move around a lot. It caused us to, pick up and go. And my mom died when I was a baby, so there was nothing else there, no one else in the house to like balance him out in that way. So everything was all him. You know what I mean? And but you'd be surprised at how much compassion and nurturing and love that I had, from my dad as a child.
Really a single father, I know, I had the whole single mother experience, but like I feel like there really is a bond when like fathers and sons, or just fathers and daughters in general. If this is a single father, he's really doing all he fucking can. Man's putting a lot on his back, so I respect the fuck out of that. Yeah.
But just to fast forward a little bit, a pivotal moment was, let me see, I think I was a freshman in high school. A sophomore. Sophomore in high school, we were living in the city in St. Louis, and we lived on Geraldine and Harney, on the corner of Geraldine and Harney, on the north side of St. Louis. And people from St. Louis, they know what that means. And Geraldine was also called G Street, you know what I'm saying? And it was gangs and all that kind of shit. And my dad established a mosque right there on that corner. And they had like a whole, like a little war with this gang on that street that lasted for about 6 months. And at some point, I'm going to write a book about that summer, you know what I'm saying? Because it was crazy. Because, basically, once he established that mosque, and then the guys who joined him in that mosque were, a lot of them were ex-convicts, you know what I'm saying, who converted to Islam while they were in prison. And so they understood the street life, but they were all looking for something better. And so you had these guys on one end, and then you had these younger guys who were still in the streets on the other end. And yeah, man, they had a straight up war. You know what I mean? That lasted for a time until it was over. You know what I mean? So during that time,
and that's in what time period? What
this is this is 96,
okay.
97.
Okay.
So around that time, my brother is, you know, he's hitting his teens, 15, 16. He's getting restless, you know what I mean? Like, you know, he's tired of being poor, you know, coming home from football practice, you know, eating corn and shit. You know what I mean? And he starts to delve into the street life, right? So, you know, he pawned my Nintendo 64.
Damn.
You know what I mean? He bought some, you know.
Bought some dope,
sold it, you know, was trying to do it.
Yeah.
He was trying to do other things. He got into robbing people. And so him and a friend from down the street, they went downtown. They tried to rob a guy. As soon as they pulled the gun on the guy just started fighting him. You know, they
weren't ready for that.
Yeah.
That's what he did.
Right. You try to pull a gun
You
on
see
me.
a gun, nah, fuck, I'm fighting you.
Yeah, man. So, but they ended up getting separated on their way back home, and the friend is the one who kept the gun. He ran off with the pistol. The problem was, that was my dad's pistol.
Damn.
Right? So, it was like a weird circumstance. It was like 3 o'clock in the morning. My dad come in the house. It's like a Saturday, you know, and the late night cartoons is like illuminating the room and shit. I'm asleep on the floor, you know what I'm saying? My dad comes in and goes right to the gun safe. He had a 6 foot, 300-pound gun safe, you know, with 50 weapons in there. Yeah. He goes right into the gun safe, clack, clack, and is looking for that specific piece. Why he was looking for it at 3 o'clock in the morning, I don't know. But that's what he was looking for. And, you know, he kind of woke me up. He was like, "You seen my pistol?" I'm like, "Nah." He know I ain't got the motherfucker.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But he goes back into my brother's room, wakes him up, you know what I'm saying, brings him out of the room, you know, with his fingers in his nose.
Damn.
Yeah, bringing him out of the room, dog. And he's like, "Find this motherfucker." So they go through the house, opening drawers, cabinets, turning mattresses over, and the whole time my dad is just waiting to hear what the story is. You know what I'm saying?
That's crazy.
And then finally, you know, my brother, he breaks down. He's like, "All right." And my dad's, "Okay, look, what happened?" He's like, "All right, so I took the gun." He's like, "All right."
Smack.
We went downtown. Okay. We tried to rob somebody. All right. You know, my dad's like, "Wrap this shit up. Where's it at?" He says, you know, my friend down the street, he got the gun. And as soon as he uttered that line, bang, slept him. He hit him, knocked him out, and caught him up under his pits at the same time and laid him on the bed.
Extra dad move.
Yeah. I got you. Yeah, laid him down, man. And I was still on the floor, like, watching this shit with the blankets.
How old were you?
13.
13.
Yeah.
So you were definitely old enough to comprehend what's going on.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, he sat down next to him on the bed and he smoked a cigarette for a second. Then he went in the kitchen. He got a cup of water. Came in there, flashed him, slapped him up. You know what I'm saying? And you know, when my brother's coming to, realizing what's going on, he starts crying and stuff. He goes to the gun safe. He takes out an AK-47, banana clip, fully loaded. He puts that clip in. He charges the weapon.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he stands my brother up, and he puts that gun in his mouth.
Bruh, what? I mean,
Yeah. And he tells him, he says, I would rather kill you and him before I let another motherfucker out here do it for me. And then he's like, now we're going to get your pistol.
Your pistol.
Yeah. And, yeah, man. So he hollered at me on the floor. He was like, "Get your ass up."
Damn.
I hopped up immediately. I was like a
You
spear.
was ready.
Just scared, you know what I'm saying? He handed me a pistol. My brother didn't have one because we had to go get his.
Mm-hmm.
And we walked down the street at 4 o'clock in the morning.
So yeah, that's when you need one. That's for damn sure.
And what my dad was so disgusted about was that, you know, they were having a conflict with these dudes on the street. And in his mind, coming from that old world, he felt so violated of the idea that my brother would give his pistol to somebody who would then turn around and kill him with the pistol that he gave him. You know what I mean? Because he don't know
those people.
Right. In his mind, everybody is connected on this block that we got an issue with.
Yeah.
Because he's not letting them sell drugs. He's not letting them do prostitution.
Yeah.
Over here, he's not letting them do that no more. So he was trying to
better that block and better that community. You know?
Yeah, and he did. You can go to that neighborhood right now today and eat ice cream on the corner.
Was the mosque still staying?
Yep.
Damn.
Wow.
Let's go.
Yeah, it's still there.
Love it.
So that was a pivotal moment because, you know, the next day my brother was gone. He never came back. You know, he went to school, never came back home.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so it was just me and my dad for about a year or so, and then I ended up leaving as well. I came to Kansas City. I went to Ruskin.
Okay.
And but then I ended up going back to St. Louis. And by this time, my dad was in Norman, Oklahoma. And when he heard I moved back to St. Louis by myself, he was like, fuck no, you can't be in that city by yourself.
Yeah.
So he asked me to come visit Norman for 3 days, and if I liked it, he wanted me to move down there with him. So he took me to Norman. All he had to show me was the football field. Because, you know, they 6'8", big time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, halftime shows, planes flying over, skydivers coming down.
Dang, that's crazy. For high school?
Because they're closer to, are they closest to Texas, or is that more South Oklahoma?
It's a little bit more south, but, I mean, it's still
when you
right
get
there.
that south, they do all that shit down there.
Yeah, bro. So it was like that. And when I seen that, I was like, yeah. Like, that was all I needed.
So you're in high school at this point?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so,
Wait, so who'd you live with here?
My aunt.
Okay.
Yeah, my mom's older sister.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So I moved to Oklahoma and for my senior year, and that's where I met Zacharias Musawe, the 20th hijacker.
Whoa.
Yeah. So
in Oklahoma?
Yeah, so he went to the same mosque. We all went to the same mosque.
Oh, shit. That's crazy. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so that's how we got all wrapped up in the terrorism shit.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so Musawe, we didn't know that was his name at the time. We thought his name was Shaquille. And yeah, man, like he was Moroccan. He was ethnically Moroccan, but he was from France. And he was I'm not sure. I think he was an engineering student at OU. I think that's what he was studying. But it was crazy because, you know, I had friends in the mosque that were around my age, other guys who they were students at OU while I was a senior in high school. And so there was one point where I had invited a couple of these guys to a football game to watch me play. It was our homecoming game. You know what I'm saying? Now these dudes, you know, they in their countries they play soccer. You know, so they ain't seen this shit yet.
Right.
And they ain't seen it at this level. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so yeah, man, they showed up and Shaquille happened to come with them. Like I didn't invite him personally, but he came with these other guys who I invited. And it was the first time they had watched like a football game. And I'm out there making it happen.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? 'Cause I came down there at that school. It was a guy there. He had been starting since he was a freshman. I came down there, took his spot.
Dang.
Yeah, bro.
As a running back?
Yeah.
I already knew he was a running back. He just looked like a running back.
Yeah.
Came down there, you know, did my thing. And after the game, I'm like, you know, outside the athletic complex, I'm like hugged up with my girlfriend, cheerleader.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you know.
You had like the most stereotypical high school experience. Jock, cheerleader.
I was the All-American dude. Right?
Yeah.
And then I look over in the parking lot, and I'm like, oh, shit. It's these 5 Muslim dudes like looking at me. You know, like with my chick. You know, Islam. You know.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Can't
So
date white women.
Well, it ain't white women. It's like just before
it's
marriage.
It's haram, right?
Haram, yeah. So I, you know, I kind of back off her. She like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, let me go talk to these dudes real quick. Yeah, man. And I got in an argument with Shaquille in the parking lot. He was like ridiculing me about. He was like, you know, the way the audience, the crowd cheered for me, and all of that shit. He was like, that kind of energy and praise should be reserved for God. Like a man shouldn't put himself in a position like that, and especially a Muslim, et cetera, et cetera.
Interesting.
And I'm like, wait a minute. You motherfuckers, y'all play soccer. People don't cheer for you motherfuckers in the soccer game?
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? And then he went on like, and you know, with these females and shit. I see what you doing over there. He's like, your daddy know about this and all that shit. I'm like, hey, hold on now. You know,
Nobody got to get her here.
Yeah. Don't be blowing on my spot now, motherfucker. So that time period was crazy, and I ended up living like a double life, man. Where during the day I was at the mosque, you know, praying, straight up Muslim, this and that. Mm-hmm. At night, I was smashing cheerleaders, doing all the drugs. Yeah, you know, playing football. I was, you know,
going to school though too. So
yeah.
Okay. So like,
I was a, you know, I had a 3.6 GPA. I was all right. I always been, you know, studious.
Yeah. You
But,
seem very book smart.
Yeah.
Whenever just talking to you in just general, your vocabulary is very out of this fucking world, and you understand dialects so fucking easily too. Any dialect.
This man speaks Russian.
Bro, yes.
He speaks Russian.
Я немного говорю по-русски. Немного.
Bro, he called out. He literally, we were at AFM, and there's these 3. I mean, they were all Russian, or were they
Polish?
No,
this is a different moment. You weren't
there. They were Russian, Mongolian, and Kazakh.
And he just looks over and just speaks a little bit, and you see one guy like, no, don't let him know that you do this. Like, just straight up, like literally, because they don't want to know that people. They don't want people knowing that they're there. Really, you gotta think about that. Where we are now with Russia and everything like that, people don't want They don't want people knowing that they're in America.
Somebody told you that.
Well, when I started talking to them in Russia, I asked them where they were from. You know, I was like, Akuda, like, where y'all from? And the ethnic Russian guy was like, Russia, Mongolia, and these 3 dudes are from Kazakhstan.
Yeah.
And then one of the Kazakh dudes, he didn't even turn around.
He didn't even flinch.
He just leaned over to the Russian guy, and he was like, don't tell nobody you from Russia.
But he said it in Russian.
In Russian, yeah.
That makes sense. I mean, they probably think like the government thinks they're spies, or the government thinks they're like, you know, like.
Well, I think like Jarrell was saying, you know, they feel like the optics is bad for them right now.
Yeah.
And what sucks
similar
is like
to where you were at back then.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. And it's not their fault.
Right.
I'm gonna put it that way, 100%. It's not anyone's fault. It's leadership, obviously, and how leadership trickles down to their 100%. People and all that sad. So own it, be here, and like, if the fact that you're here, hopefully you're not on some fuck shit, but like, it seems like if you're at an American film market, you're actually out here doing some shit.
But like, you probably test it, like, it's easier said than done.
Yeah.
You know, like
100%.
Yeah, for sure. You know, I spent almost 20 years of my life, like, you know, preemptively apologizing. You know what I mean, for being Muslim or being associated with Islam.
What do you mean by
after 9/11?
What do you mean by that? Like, you, by your actions, or like verbally you would apologize? Like, how do you?
So like, you know, you would kind of have to go into a conversation or meeting. Some people like, you know, yeah, you know, my name is Islamic, you know what I'm saying, but you know, I don't practice. I don't do that. You know, so you're like prepping the conversation or the relationship by letting people know that you ain't on no crazy shit. You know what I'm saying?
Especially in the early 2000s, like,
I hate that stigmatism now, though.
Yeah,
I hate that now, though.
But you almost had to for your own safety as well.
Oh yeah, man. You know, after 9/11 happened in Oklahoma, you know, I got attacked twice.
Really?
I got beat up twice. The second time,
Even though you were star of the football team and all that shit.
So this is why it's gonna be a dope TV show. So overnight, I went from like being one of the most popular dudes in the school, to then like being, called a terrorist and shit. And the FBI came in and removed my dad out of the house, so it's just me. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
For how long?
Bro, I didn't see my dad again for 2 years.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
How did bills get paid and all that?
They didn't. So
that's fucking.
Once the lights and the water and shit just stopped working, you know what I mean? Like, and then I had to leave the house anyway,
right?
Because people knew where I lived. And the second time I got beat up, it happened in my driveway. When I pulled in the driveway and got out of the car, a dude rushed me from the side of the house.
What?
And it froze me. But while I was frozen, looking at him run up, then other people attacked me from behind.
What?
As well. Yeah, like they waited on me, and they were, ski masked up. You know what I'm saying? And
Is it white dudes?
Well, I think it was.
That wasn't appropriate.
No,
it's a serious moment here.
No, it's good. Yeah.
That's like,
But it ended up being a couple of guys who I knew from the football team.
Damn.
What?
No way.
No. Yeah.
Bro.
Guys that you bleed and sweat with, bro. It's.
Yeah. So the town was divided where, some people felt like, they were saving the world by doing shit to me, but there were other people who like came to my aid though. You know what I mean? So it was interesting. So I was just caught in the middle of all that shit, and then I'm in the middle of that, and then I got the FBI that I'm dealing with on a daily basis. They're coming around. They're trying to coerce me into wearing a wire and going and infiltrating other mosques, other Islamic groups, people.
Whoa.
You know what I mean? Being an informant.
Wow.
Yeah.
As a high schooler, what are you thinking? Like, are you thinking this is my only choice?
Are you 18, 19?
So I just turned 18 on the 3rd, so 8 days before 9/11. You know what I mean? So I just turned 18. Like, I don't even know nothing
full
about
ass
being
adult
no 18.
yet. I mean, in the world's eyes, full ass adult. Like,
you're treated as a
he can
as
get
a
it.
man, as a full grown adult.
There was no sympathy.
Yeah.
Not no more. Cops could pick him up at any given time.
Yep.
I mean, you already see there's not all sympathy for people of color that are even 16, 17. Their verbiage is like it's a man or an adult or
Yep.
So especially you had everything against you.
Yeah.
Everything. How did you maneuver from there? Like you were 18.
Well, I went through a period of suicidal thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
I used to lay on the bed until when the sun would come up. I would wake up and I would lay in the bed until the fucking sun went down. Like, I wasn't eating. I wasn't even like using the bathroom. It was weird. Like, my body was shutting down. It was.
You just had no life in you at all.
Yeah, bro. And the only thing that saved me at that time was I had a dog. And he would come jump in there. Be trying to go take a shit or something. So I would have to get up and go out, sit outside or something. But yeah, man. Like, I wanted it to end, and I didn't know how to get out.
Damn.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it. Oh, man.
All right. Well, I was just saying that I couldn't see no future.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted it to end, and I just didn't want it to hurt. So,
And didn't your brother have?
Yeah.
Because your brother was supposed to go pro.
Yeah. So at this time, he was, running 400 yards in a single game.
Damn.
Running back too.
Yeah. At Coffeyville, his backup at Coffeyville was Brandon Jacobs.
Oh shit.
Yeah. New York Giants. Big guy, you know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, man.
Did your I mean, I know you haven't seen your dad at this time. So have you still not seen your brother in this moment, in this period of time still? Or
so when my brother left in high school, we actually didn't communicate with each other for almost 2 years. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And you were like a eighth grader when he left, or a freshman?
Sophomore,
and he was like a senior already?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then this situation is actually what brought us back together. You know, and he was ready to, you know, leave school. He was like, I'm just gonna come down there. I'm like, do what?
Right.
Sit in the dark with no water with me, you know what I'm saying? Like, no, stay at school. And then, you know, that's when he got the mindset, like, he was like, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get to the NFL and get this money, and then that's gonna save us. That's gonna fix everything.
Yeah.
You know. And then this motherfucker's next game, he would put up like 380.
Damn.
With 4 touchdowns.
Vision, bro.
He was running for his life, like literally.
Literally running for his life.
Yeah. And so, but then he got injured.
Damn.
Yep. He was out there going too hard, you know what I'm saying?
ACL.
Yep.
ACL, yeah.
ACL,
That's
yeah.
usually what it is.
Damn.
Running back.
Blew the knee out, and then, but you know, even when he had his injury, he was still getting recruited by the top universities, K-State, all these schools, Washington State.
They'll wait for you. If you put up yards and numbers like that, they'll wait for you.
Yeah.
Because that means you can probably bounce back pretty quickly.
Yeah, his you know, he had the surgery by a known physician who had done other surgeries and everything like that. But yeah, once it came out about my dad, once that made national news, that's actually the first time his opportunities dried up was in college. So he went from being one of the best football players in America in junior college to like not even getting recruited by a NAIA or a Division III school.
Damn.
You know what I'm saying? And the only reason he went to Southern Illinois University, Carbondale.
Hey, shout out. Salukis.
Yeah. Only reason he went there is because the coach that he had at Coffeyville had moved on to that school and was looking to see where Muhammad was going to go. That's my brother's name. And when he didn't go nowhere, that coach literally drove to the house and was like, man, let's go.
Damn.
And just drove him to SIU. And he made the all-century team in 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Great talent.
Yeah.
And then it all got destroyed because of the fucking media.
Yeah. And then he entered the draft in 2004, and, you know, the New York Giants brought him in. Coincidentally, Brandon Jacobs had transferred to SIU from Auburn. The reason he came to SIU is because of my brother.
Oh, no shit?
Yeah.
That's fucking dope.
Yeah.
That's dope.
And so when the Giants came to look at my brother, you know, they saw Brandon as well.
Yeah.
They brought my brother in the training camp. He scored real well, did everything he was supposed to do, but then they found out about our dad. They sent him home, and then they just picked Brandon up.
Sheesh.
And honestly, I think now the NFL's a lot. I would think the NFL's grown a little bit since then.
Nah.
You don't
They
think
went through the
so?
whole Kaepernick thing. Like, they...
Okay, well, yeah, that. I'm still thinking of that, too. Like, you don't think that if that happened now, it's still the same result will happen?
Because if you look at it this way, like, they just took a safer route. They're like, why would we risk?
Oh, well, yeah, you're right.
They're going to do the same shit. They're going to take the safest route they can.
I mean, yeah, when it comes to their color.
Yeah, the NFL is about the money. So whatever the people who are buying the majority of their tickets.
Did he grab him? I hope he's not locked out.
Oh. Whoever's buying the most of their tickets and producing their revenue, that's where they're going to lean. So, like, you saw them, when the kneeling thing happened, they leaned away from black folks.
Sure did.
But when BLM happened after George Floyd,
they leaned right
then they
into
had
it.
to lean to the black folks.
They started coming out with the helmets that had, like, to choose love and
because the money shifted.
They're a corporation, bro. It's just their politics is whatever's making the money.
Yeah.
But I still think, but I still think that something has to change. I believe somewhat of that. I think now in today's world, in 2022, we have to be more mindful and more conscious to believe that the same situation can't happen twice. It can't happen. Like, that's a huge thing. Like, your brother was huge to be recruited and all that jazz and to go through the whole jazz. And then for that little bit of news to come out, and then sure enough, nothing came from it because your dad obviously made it out. Everybody's safe now. Mm-hmm. Like, you think that would happen again, knowing what already has happened?
Yeah, I mean, if Russia bombed the U.S. and went to war with Russia,
if a Russian player
and then a Russian
came over,
player was like getting recruited, and then their parents got,
like arrested,
terrorist
yeah.
charges. Like, yeah, the same stuff would happen.
Sad. The same.
So the NFL has a very close relationship with the FBI. FBI does all like the background checks and everything like that.
Really?
Yeah, and so
they obviously didn't care too much. Look at Brett Favre.
Well, you know,
you hear about that?
That's just crazy.
Yeah.
We still won't talk about that, but I guess no one's willing to talk about that right now.
I mean, Brett. Yeah, I mean that's wild. I mean, he's a perfect candidate to not like. He's a white Hall of Famer. Like they don't want that story to be true about
From
Brett Favre,
Mississippi.
but it definitely is true.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is a filmmaking podcast, but I feel like we're getting a really good story about you.
Yeah.
But I'm enjoying it. And I think we should definitely keep talking about it. But I also want to just bring it back to like, you said you want to do a TV show and you're writing a pilot. Tell us more about that with your early life.
Yeah. So the the first script that I ever wrote was an adaptation of my autobiography, and I placed in a national competition at BET. And that's when I realized, like, oh, okay, I can, maybe I can do this.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, did that. I went to the UCLA professional screenwriters program, and I rewrote that script.
Mm-hmm.
And in that program, my instructor was like, like they just felt like this is some limited series or TV show type shit.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, it's just too much to put in an hour and a half.
Yep.
And so, and then I got accepted into the Writers Guild program.
Mm-hmm.
And so now I'm writing a pilot in that program, with these professionals,
Yeah.
reading it and stuff. So yeah, it's a dope story, and I got dope, talented people,
helping you craft it still.
Yeah, helping me put it together. So.
What's your hope for it? What's your timeline? Like, you want to produce it, like, I mean, obviously you have to finish writing it, but, like, would you want to produce it, like, next year or, like, as soon as possible?
Hell yeah. So at the end of this Writers Guild program, I'll have an opportunity to pitch that pilot to some of the biggest, networks in the world.
Got you.
Yeah.
And, I'm hoping to get a deal. And, had this thing greenlit by next year.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Yeah.
That would be ideal.
Hell yeah.
We gonna shoot it here?
Honestly,
we can shoot it wherever now.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, no, that would be dope because, it's the only insider 9/11 story. All the 9/11 films and books and everything are only from like one perspective.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We don't give a fuck about the Middle Eastern perspective.
Mm-hmm.
So you won't see none of that. But what you also don't see is like the perspective of these other Americans that got wrapped up into that.
Yeah.
I mean? So
it's like the story of like how Americans were affected by it, but like from every American's point of view,
Right.
All we see is the other point of view, but
right.
Your story is crazy because you have so many like that scene that you just described in the parking lot.
Mm-hmm.
I could already see that. Like I was already seeing like the different cuts, like what I mean.
Yeah.
It's very like visual,
Mm-hmm.
and the fact that you did know one of the pilots and you talked to them or whatever is or not pilots, the hijackers, it's pretty crazy, bro. Like that's
I used to box this dude,
for real.
Yeah, we would like train and stuff in the mosque. I used to box this dude.
Bruh.
That's insane.
I was 5'5", 160 pounds. This dude was like 5'11", 220.
Sheesh.
Nice to give him the business. You know what I'm saying?
Speedy Gonzalez over here. Just all to the body. All to the body.
Yeah. But that's what got me into screenwriting.
Yeah.
So did you have any before you turned in the pilot to BET or turned in the project to BET, did you have any knowledge of writing in general before that? Like, did you write at all?
Nope.
You just picked it up and was just
I
like,
went to YouTube. Like how you write a
shout out to YouTube once again. This is the third episode we've talked about YouTube.
I mean, I'm telling you, man, it's all you need, really. I mean, obviously you need more, but it's a good start.
Yeah.
Good ass start.
How to write a screenplay, and it was a dude on there, and he was like, this is a slug line, and this is an action line, and then this is and I had a little Word document up.
Yeah.
Just doing what he was telling me to do.
Hell yeah.
Wait, you wrote your first script on Word?
Yeah. And then saved it as a PDF.
Oh,
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, dog.
And now, I think Word has a formatting tool now. I know Google Docs does, where you can like
For scripts?
for scripts. But don't do it. Don't do it. It's not. You got to actually like format it still yourself as you do it. But it's in there though. If people want to use it, if you need a free screenwriting tool, it's in Google Docs.
Celtics is free.
Yeah, I use Celtics now.
Yeah. I get Writer Duet, and I'm about to buy Final Draft though.
Yeah, I got to transition to Final Draft because that's just where everybody in the industry. Yeah, that's what they use.
I mean, I used it all through college, and it was it worked. It's worth it, 100%.
I spent all this time, going to school. I did a MBA. I did a master's in international relations. You know what I mean? And then I'm like, the hell with all of that. I wish I would have just went to school for
film.
Yeah.
My man has a license to kill, and all he wants to do is just go to film school.
To make movies.
You know what I'm saying?
Man, I love that though.
Yeah. So, do you just focus on writing, or do you see yourself like wanting to direct more, or produce more?
I feel like I have to just because of my personality. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I think writers in the industry are, whether it's a stereotype or whatever, they're typically seen as being like introverts, and I actually I'm a huge introvert. I'm very shy. You know what I'm saying?
I don't see that.
Yeah,
I can
super
see
shy.
It. I can see it.
Super shy.
We're shy in the same way. I was noticing that at AFM. Like me and we got a thing, but it's cool. We still pop in the room and we still make friends though.
Yeah.
Oh, David from Berlin, he reached out to me the other day actually. I linked up with him. Yeah.
That's what's up.
Yeah, he reached out and seeing what's up. But no, I get that shot thing because I'm still watching E just work, and I'm just like, you know what? I'm gonna just.
So you think Corey and I are more alike? And you
oh hell yeah! Oh hell yeah!
Yeah. So I just learned to force myself into extroverted activity.
Yeah.
It's just because I had to do that.
Right.
All my life, but I'm
And film's the perfect extroverted activity.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't got a choice but to be extroverted.
You got no
you got to sell
damn
yourself
choice.
24/7.
Right.
And sell the vision.
So because of that, I think that I'll continue to develop as a director and a producer and all that kind of stuff like that. But, writing for me is like that's the cornerstone.
That's the cornerstone.
Yeah.
But I can see that. I mean, you already are. I mean, will you be, even though you're in the Writers Guild, like the program, will you be able to tag WGA behind your name now, or is that
if my pilot gets picked up, I will.
Okay.
Let's go.
Baby.
Yeah.
Speaking of writing, I think it was this one.
Yeah, you measured it.
But speaking of writing, you're helping us write Elevator Money.
Yeah.
Yeah. You want to talk about that?
I mean, this will probably be released a few weeks from now. We haven't told anyone about the plan.
Oh, okay.
I haven't told anybody yet.
Oh.
I mean, I guess we could.
I mean, you can talk about it. You can talk about
We're writing a feature script, Elevator Money. That's all we can say right now. But Khalid is definitely he's helping us out. He's going to be like one of the main writers and consultants to make our script kind of hit that next level.
Yeah.
Because all of us were youngins. Like, we haven't really written that many scripts, and we definitely haven't been in rooms or had conversations with actual writers like you have.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really hyped to write this script together.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I think, for me, screenwriting is therapeutic, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I've always written stories,
Mm-hmm.
And then I wrote extensively for the government.
Wait. Oh, like.
Like federal documents and shit,
I want to know more, though.
No. No.
Bro, he was a spy. Come on.
No.
People are interested in that part. Yes, this is filmmaking, but, bro, he was a spy.
Yeah.
We're going to get this video flagged on YouTube.
It'll be all right.
Adrian's mad.
No, this has been a great convo.
This has been an awesome convo. Okay, yeah, so, yeah, my bad.
Yeah, so, I used to, I may have mentioned this to you guys before, but, like, when I was going through a lot of that shit back in the day,
Uh-huh.
I used to write stories. I would write stories about people who got into shit and then got out of it.
Okay, that was your thing. That was the across the board thing. Just always getting into something, getting out. Okay.
And it would like make me feel good because
you were in a situation that you couldn't see the end of.
Right.
So, oh my God, yeah, I resonate with that. So yeah.
So I could keep writing a character out of a difficult situation, and it made me have some kind of comfort in my own situation that there was a way out of it as well.
Wow,
bro, that's beautiful. Facts. That's beautiful as fuck right there.
Yeah. So that's what got me.
At least your character, like your characters are happy. You can always be happy at the end.
Yeah, and that's what films do. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
the reason you have to have the audience identify with your character early in the film is so that they'll care about what happens to them throughout the film. Mm-hmm. And then the best way to make your audience identify with them is to connect your character to your audience on a very primal level. Right? So, life, death, love, money, right?
Greed, all that.
You know. So these primal things becomes the problem that your character faces. And then the audience, they subconsciously tie that issue to their own life. Mm-hmm. And it becomes almost like a therapy because maybe they didn't work through their situation properly. Mm-hmm. Maybe they're still working through a situation. But being able to visualize it on screen, it gives them some kind of
clarity.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And so that's what films do. And aside from that, they also allow people to empathize with different people at a much deeper level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I meant that. What are you gonna say?
I feel like also screenwriting is kind of, as far as like making a movie, it's almost like coding or like manifesting life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it starts off with a character and a story, and you're bringing that to life. But then the filmmaking process, you literally have to then manifest bringing a cast, bringing a crew, getting it like on video, and then editing it, and then you see exactly what you wrote, which is a weird feeling. It's like, whoa, like this, like it's like coding. It's like a video game or like a website. But then even like selling it, like even then it's like the hopes and ambitions you had for this project, like it's also like manifesting, but it all starts with the code, which is the writing.
Yeah.
Do you feel like it's similar to that? I feel like
I do, man. Like to me, writing is magic, man. It's magic. If you think of the most powerful item that has ever existed in the world is a book. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
I was gonna say the Bible, but he's right. It's a book.
Yeah. Yeah. Think about what books have done, right? The Bible, right? All the religious text. Even the books that had other impacts. You know what I mean? Hitler rose to power because of a book he wrote in prison.
Whoa.
It's called Mein Kampf, My Struggle.
Oh, you were telling me about that. Yeah.
So he wrote that book, and by the time he got out of jail, like, he had a whole country that he could lead because of a book.
Really?
Yeah.
So it was like a #1 hit in Germany?
Yeah.
So he's like a celebrity when he came out?
Basically.
That makes sense.
That's why Hitler was able to do what he did.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. So, books, man, ideas are what do it. You know what I mean? And so being able to effectively weave an idea that when somebody reads it, it actually impacts them, like it's magic. Or it's like a spell or something.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Man.
I can't wait for y'all to write this movie. Hurry the fuck up.
I'm pumped for it, bro. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't rush it, though. But, yeah, hurry the fuck up.
No, it's going to come together.
Yeah. And then, and it's so, you can get so, like, intertwined and deep into what writing is, you know what I mean? Especially when you're going to take it to screen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, the symbolisms, etc. So, like, for example, in the first Black Panther film.
No. we got to hear his take. The audience has to hear your take.
That everyone has seen, right?
Yeah.
I'm only talking about symbolism.
Look, I'm laughing. He knows why I'm laughing.
I think we should hear your whole take on Black Panther.
Yeah,
okay.
This is for the audience.
Hey, spoilers ahead.
This is for the audience.
No,
this is the first one.
Okay. We going to the first one? Okay.
Yeah, no spoilers. So, there's symbolism in that movie. So, each of the the tribes represent, a caricature of a real African tribe. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And like, for example, when you saw Killmonger before they had the ceremonial fight at the waterfall.
Yeah.
You remember Killmonger? He snapped that spear in half, made it shorter.
Yeah.
Right. See, that comes from Shaka Zulu. Shaka Zulu, when he joined the Zulu army and they had these long spears, he shortened his spear because he felt like it was
faster,
better, for close combat.
Interesting.
You know what I'm saying? That kind of stuff. They use color a lot. Mm-hmm. There was a fight scene like in a club or something where T'Challa and Lupita and Asgard, they come into the club and one of them's got on red, one of them's got on black, one of them's got on green. Yeah. So that's the Pan-African flag. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And stuff like that. So, and there were other situations in that film where even how like items were set up in the foreground and then like a character and then like something else in the background, they were
mimicking
like colored flags.
Oh, okay.
African flags of different countries.
Interesting.
You know what I'm saying?
That's just all through the cinematography, essentially. They were doing that.
Yeah. And so in depth, and you can actually go that deep in the script, if you want to. But if you do, that's actually what makes the movie better.
Right.
Because what a script does is a script allows a single idea to be carried over a period of time. And if there's any breaks in that idea, that's what make you turn it off. Because you're out of the story. You're like, what is this? Yeah. It lost you.
Right.
Turn channel. So when you can carry an idea from start to finish, that's what's going to make people stick around. So, as it pertains to Black Panther. Yeah. So I call Black Panther a cultural abomination.
Let's hear why.
Mainly it's because black people don't own that shit. You know what I'm saying? We don't own it, right?
No, 100%. I do agree with that.
Yeah, so it's great that it made all this money, and
we attached black people to it. We did all that,
and they made money, and their families and their friends are going to benefit, and they're going to be able to do things for their communities. All that's true.
Yeah.
Right? But that motherfucker who owns that IP.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's the position.
Generational wealth that he's got.
Yeah. And those are the positions that black people are not in. But they're utilizing our culture and references to our culture to, obtain that wealth. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And the reason I feel like it's a cultural abomination has a lot to do with the storyline, but also to the fact that it preys on a psychological deficiency that black people have, and that they haven't had an opportunity to see themselves portrayed at that level, at that magnitude. So they're starved for that psychologically. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Stories, bro, are as important as like food and love and all that shit. Everything that you need to be a whole human being, you need stories as well. That's why you can go into a cave that's thousands of years old and see that some motherfucker painted a story on the wall. Right. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So when you're deprived of that, you're psychologically deprived of that. And so what they do is then they offer it to you at a price. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And it reflects you, but it doesn't benefit you. And so that's one reason why, I think that. And then the other reason is the storyline. Because in the story, they take the representation of a real world African psyche, African diaspora psyche, in Killmonger. Means that Killmonger's frame of thought could be related to a real world ideology somewhere in the black diaspora. Yeah. In the United States.
Father was killed young, grew up in a different way.
Black Panthers.
Yeah.
Fighting oppression. in Oakland, which is where the Black Panther started at.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The name of the movie is Black Panther. You know what I'm saying?
100%, yeah.
And then what they did with this real world psychological presentation is they kill it and they overlay it with a fictional one.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That was originally developed by white folks. And then that fictional one, after it kills the real world psyche, it then shows you what you should do. You should then go, build community centers. You know what I'm saying? And
join the UN.
Yeah, join the UN. Meanwhile, the United States is bombing the shit out of motherfuckers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, force is appropriate over here, but not over here. And they repeat that narrative again and again and again in that film. And it's just, to me, it's derogatory.
Is it derivative or derogatory?
I think it's derogatory is what I'm saying.
Okay,
like
okay. I
It's
thought derivative was the word he was meaning, though. So
I don't know the definition of either of those. So,
so it's like a bad thing to me.
Yeah.
To do that because it perpetuates something that has persisted in American culture and global culture as it pertains to African or black people. You know what I'm saying? Y'all need to chill out. Y'all don't need to be like nobody else in the world. Don't be getting no guns. Don't be, don't be doing none of that.
Yeah.
All that kind of shit. So, yeah. And then, metaphorically speaking, T'Challa and Killmonger were relatives. They were cousins, as black people are with Africans, right? Black people...
Starting to see a lot of hidden stuff.
Black people in America have been trying to reconnect with something on the continent of Africa for centuries. And here you are at the highest pinnacle of storytelling. And you have an opportunity to reconcile that relationship metaphorically through storytelling. And instead you allow them to kill each other.
Yeah.
Bro, that's disgusting. And to Ryan Coogler and all those people, like, bro, that's fucking disgusting.
So how would you have wrote the ending?
I would have had T'Challa. He wouldn't have asked Killmonger to be put in the healing chamber or whatever. He would have been like, get your ass up. We putting you in this chamber. You know what I'm saying? We done had this conversation. We done fought.
Yeah.
But we finna find a way to hit this middle ground.
To mend.
Like he did to the Winter Soldier, who's the white terrorist to
Yes.
Wakanda.
Yeah, brought him in, put him in a...
Didn't even ask him.
Built him a new weapon.
Yeah.
What the fuck are we doing here? What are you guys writing?
Yeah.
Coogler, what are you writing, bro? The fuck are you doing?
Hit the button.
Which
Blue one. No, that one. Over. Yeah. Nope. Down. Nope. That way. Up, then. Over. Yeah.
Yeah. For real, bro. So I get that it's it's made billions of dollars and it's a success.
It's just like the opportunity that they had was so massive and what they could have done with it.
Yeah.
Compared to what they did do with it. I mean, a lot of good came out of it,
Right.
And I think it set a good precedent to show that, like, black films do sell, and, like, the whole saying of, like, this urban genre is only going to sell very, like, a small amount isn't true with that movie.
Yeah.
But is it not true if Disney's doing it? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Or is it not true, like, in general? And that's the question, I guess, that we'll see moving forward. I mean, Black Panther 2 was really successful, too, but it's like that's what they're using as, like, a benefit from that storyline, from what they did with it.
Yeah.
But it's like, yeah, it didn't work. I mean, it worked really well because Disney did it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Is that going to continue to happen? And is that narrative going to be true? You know what I mean? And now with there being Mexican representation and the second one and all that stuff, I think it's like a double-edged sword. Like, it's really good in a lot of ways. In a lot of ways, it's kind of like, I don't know.
I remember there was an interview with Jackie Chan And the interviewer asked him, you know, how does he feel that, you know, China has produced hundreds of Mulan films? You know what I'm saying?
Different versions.
Yeah,
Yes.
throughout history. And then Disney comes along, you know, and makes one, and now it's
Greatest thing
globally,
alive.
you know, this and that.
Yeah.
And Jackie Chan said, I love it. He was like, I wish Disney would tell more of our stories, because at the end of the day, it's getting our stories out there. Mm-hmm. But see, he can have that perspective because unbeknownst to himself, right? He owns his own culture. Yeah. He fully operates it. The first people to benefit from Chinese culture are Chinese people. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. The first people to benefit from Latino and Hispanic culture are Latino and Hispanic people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Black people are the last motherfuckers to benefit from their own culture.
Yeah.
Everybody else gets paid first from our culture. And then we might get paid from it. Maybe. You know what I mean? So that's the difference in the perspective. The reason he's like, yeah, go ahead. Mm-hmm. Do that Chinese shit. Play that funky music, white boy. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just going to come back to me because it's mine. I own it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But we can't do that. So it doesn't have the same thing. And then what the other thing that Black Panther does is, you know, it's going to devalue other black mythologies. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know,
until one is created better than it.
How so, though? Give me an example.
Well, exactly, because shit just ain't going to be as pristine as that. It ain't going to look as good. It ain't going to be at the biggest level.
Oh.
So, you know, black folks are, you know, they're on that shit now. So if you come out with some other black shit, they like, man, get that bootleg shit out of here.
It's like a knockoff. Like,
yeah.
Yeah. There can't. Damn.
And Disney is the only one that can do it like that.
Mm-hmm. Right.
That's why, like, the whole, wait, who was Blade? Yeah, the whole Blade movie, I think it's going in the ground. I think there was an article, Mahershala Ali didn't like the script whatsoever. There was only like 3 fight scenes in it. Like, not a real Blade movie. Even though this is off topic with equality, but like still though, like these stories that are driven by black characters are very limited.
Yeah. Black people need ownership.
Yeah.
If Marvel wanted to be equitable, list yourself as a producer and give these black folks $200 million to create their own shit.
That's what Erica Alexandra was talking about in that one seminar.
Yeah. Give them the money and let them do what the fuck they want to do with it. And then you're a producer. That's it.
You'll still earn your money. You'll still get your dids.
Yeah. But these motherfuckers are going to own the IP. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's the difference. You know, and then
we don't own the IP of Mammy, y'all. Think about that.
For real?
No, we don't. That's Gone with the Wind, bro.
Yeah, that. And so, you know, it's like, you know, and another thing is just, again, from a storytelling perspective, right? And I've wrestled with this as a storyteller who you know, fantasy, sci-fi, mythology, that's my favorite genre.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? And I've always wrestled with how can I tell a story that's like authentically me, right?
Yeah.
Not something that is tethered to my relationship with somebody else. You know what I'm saying? So what I feel like is for a lot of black folks, when they approach their reality, even in their imagination, they can only imagine things in reference to their relationship with white people. So therefore, you know, they become limited.
Damn.
Because they can't break free of that tethering. So everything is about, okay, this is what the white people did, and now this is where we're at.
Yep.
And Black Panther does it as well. You know what I'm saying? Black Panther's entire storyline is within the universe of white people. That's actually what it's really about. They hid from the white folks. That's how it started off. It's
literally the Black Panther movement,
yeah,
in a way, just Yeah, glorified.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
The second one is even worse in that point of view.
Exactly. But think of something like Superman from a story perspective. Superman exists like beyond any. Think about 4 people who identify with the character of Superman. Let's say a white male, for example, right?
Mm-hmm.
When he imagines Superman from in his imagination, there is no tethering of that cultural manifestation as a story to their relationship with anything.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's not connected to any pain. It's not connected to oppression. It's not connected to money. It's not connected to.
Damn.
It just exists.
That's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? And that's why I appreciated the first Coming to America, because I think what Eddie Murphy did with that story was he told a story, right? That shit had nothing to do with black people's relationship to white people.
Yeah.
It just existed.
It just existed in its own world.
It was just free.
And we don't get stories like that.
We don't get stories like that.
The second Coming to America. Don't get me wrong, it was funny in parts, but you could definitely tell who owns that IP now.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, even at AFM, like all the stories that these people were pitching, these up and coming screenwriters, were all in the universe of like oppression of what white people have done.
Yeah.
And it's like a reaction to that.
Yeah.
And it's even like a subculture now. Like people want to support that, but it's still underneath the story of white people having power. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And and those things should be made as well. You know what I'm saying? But my point is, just from an intellectual exercise, like, how would we come up with a story right now about a black character that was not in some way impacted by its history? And that the inability to do that is why you didn't see black people in sci-fi and fantasy films and movies. They were not creating this shit until recently, like late 90s, 99, 2000.
We would always die first.
Well,
We wouldn't even be a part of the story.
well, in a practical sense, yeah. But I mean, even the folks writing it,
Oh, okay.
you didn't have black people writing sci-fi or fantasy.
Yeah.
Because they couldn't get out of the reality of the pain. You know what I'm saying? So you have no fantasy.
Because they write what they know.
Yeah. You know what I mean? So you can't even dream because it's so much pain and shit that you can't even imagine what a fucking fantasy even look like.
Yeah.
But there are some of those movies that hit hard though.
Oh yeah, all of them do,
Yeah.
for sure.
They're all like Watermelon Man by
Yeah.
you know, I forgot the actor's name, but you seen that movie?
Yeah,
Yeah, bro.
The white
That
dude wake up
movie,
black.
yeah, that movie definitely like hit me hard. Like I watched that on a random at like 3 a.m. and was just like, this is crazy. And then like hearing about it because they were doing a whole like piece on Melvin at the same time, and hearing how the studio wanted him to change the ending to him like waking up white again. He was like, no, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
Like, that's not reality. Fuck that.
Right.
Like I got to keep him black. And yeah, it was a whole ass argument. They didn't want to release it or anything like that. It was
That's
a lot of
crazy.
backlash, but like, yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
It's a real thing. So, like how can you be authentic like that? So if you imagine your imagination as like an ocean, it's infinite, right? And the space your imagination exists in is like an ocean. Your imagination itself is like a vessel, and you can literally sail anywhere. You know what I'm saying? But when you're tied to something that it's like an anchor, when you're psychologically referencing something as a result of your own self, you know what I'm saying, constantly, then what you do is you drop an anchor out into the world of imagination, and your ship doesn't go anywhere. You stay in the same place, imaginatively and psychologically. You stay where you're at. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So and people can't overcome the argument of Well, if I let go of that, we're forgetting. We can't forget. But that ain't what we're talking about here. Nope. You know what I'm saying? How do I create Superman as a black person without taking a white framework for what a superhero is and just paint them black? That's why all the black superheroes is just white superheroes with black skin. Static Shock, and it's just a white with the leotard on and everything. You're just taking a white framework.
Static alone.
No, you're just taking a white framework and you're just painting them black.
Yeah, he's not wrong. What does
it look like?
Meteor is it Meteor Man?
Meteor Man.
Robert Townsend and Blank Man.
Yes.
Keenan did that too, and Damon did that. Damon did that.
So those are good points because Meteor Man is another example of a black story that's just free.
Just hanging out, bro. Oh my God, you have to watch Blank Man. Blank Man was the shit. That is the movie, man. Yeah. J5. Oh man, shout out to that. Shout out to the whole Wayne family for that.
Yeah,
and they were able to do it with those stories. I think I wrote that. You know what else did it was The Last Dragon.
Yeah. Yep. The Last Dragon, completely free. Yeah. And they just did a little piece about. Are you familiar with The Last Dragon?
I don't watch a lot of movies.
God damn it! Here we go again.
I don't watch
Next episode. Look, so for audience too, who all know The Last Dragon and that fandom, that series, Khalid and Corey actually did a spot about Sho'nuff and his beginning, his origin story.
Yeah.
And I remember it's funny because you see the shit in the message boards and on the Reddits, and you want people to like do this too, and they were like, "Fuck it, bro, let's just do it." Yeah. And they did it, and bro, the visuals look dope. I haven't seen it yet. I haven't seen any of the actual footage, but just the stills y'all showed and posted, I was like, bro, I
want to see this.
And the casting choice looks perfect too.
Right. So, I don't want to go into.
Don't go too deep.
Don't
go too deep. Don't go too deep.
I don't know how much time y'all got. So,
we good on time right now.
We're
over time. Oh, we're over hour and a half. Fuck it, we're good.
So when I went to China, and I sat around the table with the Chinese intelligence agency. They were curious about all these foreigners in here. They went around the room. They asked each one of us to tell them what our opinion of China was before we came. That's what they wanted to know.
Yeah.
Everybody, the motherfucker from Albania, Poland, all these different countries, all of them, America, they all said the same thing. Everybody had a negative opinion. That's what they said. Then they got to me, and I was like, my opinion was different. Because I'm the only African-American in the room, right? And I broke it down for them. I'm like, Chinese culture had a huge impact on black America. You know what I'm saying? In the late 60s going into the 70s, where those kung fu movies would be shown at the theater in the black neighborhoods, right? And so that's how you got groups like Wu-Tang and then you had black people getting into martial arts. By the time they went to the military and they were in Japan and stuff like that, they got into martial arts, like Ron Van Cleef and these people, right? And so I kind of grew up with some of that influence because my dad was influenced by it. And also when I was 12 or 13, my dad bought me a game called Romance of the Three Kingdoms. And it's a historical reenactment of Chinese history. So you play as an actual person in Chinese history, and you play out their life on a Nintendo game.
Whoa!
What on Nintendo?
Yeah,
would have loved to see this 8-bit video game.
I have that game framed in my house on my wall.
Really?
Because it had such a profound impact on my life.
Wow,
that's smart.
So I knew Chinese history. I was influenced by people like Bruce Lee and the culture, Wu-Tang, this and that. And when I was in China at the time, in Beijing, the biggest nightclub in China was called The Wu. And it had the Wu-Tang symbol. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And every 6th or 7th song in the club had to be a Wu-Tang song.
Let's go.
And all the people who worked there had black shirts on with the Wu-Tang symbol. And bro, it was so significant because I don't know anywhere else in the world where you can find a situation that you had a cultural output from one place that got assimilated into another culture, and then they re-output it as a result of that assimilation, and then the original culture re-assimilates it and then puts it back out again.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So Chinese culture, black kids in New York, Wu-Tang Clan, and then the club owner, the Wu, the nightclub and shit like that. So
low key, and that's why Chinese people love black people. Like low key, we don't really take no slack if we go over there. Honestly, I feel like everybody else does, but us. But
For real.
Because I haven't gone yet, but from light skinned people to dark skinned people, I heard they just fall in love, bro, at first sight.
Yeah, man. It's a lot of people say that Chinese people are racist or whatever. I never had no problem over there.
I ain't never had no problem.
You know what I'm saying? But
as in here, America. I'm talking about me here. I've never had a problem with the Asian community here in America, me personally.
But it's also very different because the Asian community here is Americanized because of the American culture.
Yeah.
So it'd be a lot different than Asian communities here than actually in China. I feel like.
Oh yeah,
but
for sure.
For sure.
Yeah.
You gotta think they still depending on generations too, because you gotta think like, are they still carrying over what they brought from where they came, or like are they still die hard like this is how I run my house, this is how, like for instance, like I mean, are you as a black man, are you how do you run your household as a black father? Like, do you run it the same way your dad does, or have you changed it?
I've changed it, yeah.
So, like, that happens, but does that always happen? Because I know me, in a way, when I was parenting, I kind of ran the household in a way that my mom did. And I didn't change. So I'm wondering, like, I feel like it might change to different type of generations on when you came and whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
How do you want to see the industry progress?
In Kansas City,
the
or
film
in
industry in general, like just with films, like how do you want it to progress?
I would like. We
already filming. Yep.
I would like these.
Corey. Yeah, I answered you live.
I'm gonna mute your mic. We're in the middle of a question.
I would like these, like the camera companies. I think they're doing great jobs at like building higher quality cameras for cheaper, so that can get higher quality equipment in the hands of more people.
Yeah.
And that equals more storytelling, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
I would like to see a kind of like what I was talking about the idea of being able to free yourself imaginatively.
You said what?
Like what I was talking about trying to free yourself imaginatively as a storyteller, right?
Yeah.
Without limitations. And so I think we have a lot of limitations in the industry, whether it's from a storytelling perspective, even a formatting perspective, bro. Like,
yeah,
the gatekeepers for screenwriting, you think other shit is tough. That shit is a different level.
Wow.
Yeah, like you got one misspelled word or you got some shit in the wrong place. Motherfucker just throw your whole script in the trash.
Really?
Like right off the bat. You got 3 sentences in your action line.
Wow.
They see big block of dialogue like this and this, throw your shit out.
Really?
Yeah.
Who's throwing it out?
The readers. So when you submit to like a competition, or you submit, like let's say you get it into the pool of a production company that's looking for scripts to purchase.
Yeah.
They have a whole army of readers who are reading, hundreds of scripts every day.
Oh.
And when they see anything that gives them an indication that, you ain't meeting even just the format shit, they're throwing your shit out.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So it's vicious, man. And I understand why they do it, because they feel like things that do meet this criteria end up being what they consider quality films.
Yeah.
But they still say that 98% of all the films made are garbage.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think when I think about how I want the industry to to progress. I want to see like films be produced more like on an independent level, like a local level.
Yeah.
And I feel like that kind of goes to that imagination point where it's like if films start being created more locally, it's not just like Netflix or Disney or Fox doing the big movies. It's like now a lot of people are producing film for their communities. It's not even like a worldwide distribution, but it's like, hey, like we're going to make a film here and we're going to screen it at our local theater. And like I feel like that's where I want the industry to go. And I feel like in other countries that aren't the U.S. or the European countries, it's already done like that. Like in India, a lot of their Bollywood and the languages are so different. They have to have local producers that can film and write scripts and do productions in certain languages.
Right.
But that's what I'm hoping for too, because then I feel like, you know, if film becomes more of a local art, I feel like it has more of a community identity to it.
Yeah.
Right now, it's very much, it's a weird, like, we're creating for it to be as big as possible.
Yeah, about money.
Yeah, about money. And I think it's one of the only art forms that's like that, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, like the money dictates, you know, what it is.
Yeah. If it's a good film or a bad film, you know?
Yeah.
In the case of having the opportunity to make it again.
Right.
You know, if it's a terrible film but it makes money, you can get money for the next film, you know?
Yeah. Like, who was it? I can't remember the guy's name who remade The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
I don't know his name either.
Super dope ass fucking movie, dog. You know what I'm saying?
That was.
And they had it slated. There were going to be 3 new ones. You know, Daniel Craig is in it. You know,
Fincher.
David Fincher.
Yeah, Fincher directed it.
Directed it, yeah.
But Larson and Zalian wrote it.
Yeah. And so that movie is so fucking dope. And they used like a 5-act structure to write that film because they had 2 main characters. So even from like a structural standpoint,
Yeah.
they did some real fucking gymnastic shit, like putting that script together to be able to carry 2 main leads.
Damn.
Introduce each main lead separately, but still have the same storyline rolling and have you maintain in the story. Like that's where like screenwriting gets scientific. You know what I'm saying? And they had 3 of those films planned, but the same year that film came out, there was a Marvel film that came out that just blew it out the water, and so they just scrapped, you know, those other films. Like, you know.
That's crazy.
Well, I thought they dropped a different one, but it wasn't the same people who. Not a girl with the dragon tattoo. There was like the spider web. Or,
Yeah, it was a different one.
Yeah.
The lady who, it was a different one.
Charles would know, but Charles locked himself out. He's been waiting outside.
That's funny.
No, my bad. Corey called. He been blowing you up, and I was like, "Bro, where you at? What you been doing? How come you ain't come?" He was like, "Y'all told me 4:30." I'm like, "Ain't nobody said 4:30. Thought you was going to Hips thing at 5.
Right.
Isn't Hips thing at 5 too?"
Oh, I forgot
I don't
about
know.
that shit.
But anyway,
But,
nah, man.
it's been a
Sorry
great-
about that.
great
This has been a
interview,
great
bro.
episode, though. Like, this has been a really great episode.
Good, man.
I'm
glad.
extremely happy. I'm damn near. I'm cool with going like another 5 minutes. We could hit the hour half mark.
This is what this interview gets is it's a round of applause. But bro, it's been great having you on, man.
Yeah.
I'm excited to
Thank
see
you.
what
Yeah.
you and Corey produce and also to see where we take elevator money. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Bro, thank you for your time. We love
Thank
you.
you.
We
dog.
didn't even get into his spy shit though.
We had to bring him multiple times.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
This is like you have too many life stories.
there's so
We can't-
much life.
in
We
there.
can't do it all in one
But
one
he
podcast.
was a spy.
He was a spy.
Yeah.
Man, I appreciate you so much. Thank you, everybody, so much. No, I want to do it this time. You got
You
to do
take
it last
too long,
time.
bro. Jerome
And
will
that's
be
a
here
wrap.
3 more hours.